Okay. Hello and welcome to another Friday lunchtime live here in the Heat Printing Innovation Centre in Braintree in Essex. And today we're going to be talking about fusing direct film heat transfers and how you can get this right every single time. So I'll just give everyone a minute or so to join in, but just to introduce myself, my name is Andy and I look after education here at Target Transfers and Stahls UK. I'm also joined by Molly, who's going to be helping us figure out how to get the best prices for direct film heat transfers and giving you a little bit more information about transfer ordering in general and how the best way to do this is. But the most important part of today is fusing direct film heat transfers. So if you have questions or if you're having any issues with direct film heat transfers, please leave a comment. Tell us your problems because we want to fix it. We have everything in the room today to help you with regards to machinery, transfers, garment types. If you have questions about direct film heat application, please get those questions in and we can do lots of fusing today and just help you get on your journey. So thank you very much everyone that's joining us today and we'll get stuck in with a little fuse to get started and then get those questions coming in. So just to kind of clarify what I have here today, I'm going to be using a swing and draw press. I know a lot of you are fans of this style of press, so I'm going to stick with this and just kind of give you some best practice around this as well. I have lots and lots of direct film heat transfers as well, and we're going to be pushing the boundaries with regards to detail, colors. So it's not just any single color stuff, it's going to be everything to do with direct film heat application. And for those of you that are new to us and have never joined us for live today, we are in the Heat Printing Innovation Centre in Braintree in Essex, which is the home of heat printing in the UK. This has the largest selection of heat presses anywhere in Europe. And we also just behind me, on the wall behind me, is the largest and biggest transfer manufacturing facility in the UK for any type of heat transfer. As long as direct to film, it also covers screen printed heat transfers and full color direct digital screen technology transfers as well. So you have questions about other transfer types as well. We don't just have to talk about direct film transfers today, we can cover absolutely everything. So please get those questions in. And like I said, I'm going to start off with a simple fuse and just kind of get stuck into that really. So I have a Bella Canvas jersey here and I'm going to fuse this on the Hotronix Fusion IQ. And the reason I'm using this particular machine is because when it comes to direct to film heat transfers, it's really important that you're fusing accurately, and that's where the problems arise. So I've seen a lot of people making mistakes online with regards to loading t-shirts, with regards to second pressing, and doing lots of things that just don't really make sense. That's why I'm just going to put some clarity to it today and hope that I can help lots of you. So if we have a question already. Excellent. If using screen print transfers at 160 degrees, what's the best way to avoid scorching on polyester shirts? So it's a good question, and I do have an example of one where we've fused successfully onto the Audis polyester, 100% polyester shirt here. This is one of the Just Cool JC001. So one, garment selection is a good place to start. I find this particular polyester top to be really easy to fuse on. So I'd recommend testing that one out as well. But there's a few different processes you can get through to get a perfect fuse on polyester with any type of transfer type. And this can be applied to direct to film and to full color transfers as well. So the reason that people have issues, and for Steve, it's if you're fusing a 160 degrees product on polyester, sometimes it's going to scorch. Because polyester doesn't really like to go above sort of 130 and then it starts to get that horrible box around it and it's not particularly attractive and it's not a great product to put in front of your customers. So there's a few different ways you can fix that. The easiest way, and what we've done here, so I'll try and get you a close up so you can see there's no mark on this at all. There's no scorching. It's not been washed. I've not cheated anything with this. We did this just yesterday. All we did in this instance was even though this is a single color product, which I know a lot of you would normally work towards screen printed heat transfers like Steve has, because you're just doing single color, you're better off not using direct to film, you're better off using screen printed heat transfers because the price would be a lot better for you. But we'll get into that later as to when the right product to use at the right time. With this instance, with the Just Cool one, we just actually used the ultra color transfer. So ultra color fuses at 120 degrees C because it's a water-based heat transfer. And we actually found we didn't actually need to do any tricks for this. Literally just fused it normally, and it was absolutely fine. There was no problems because it was being fused at 120. There's no scorch point, and it actually just went on like a dream, to be honest with you. Let it go cold and peeled it like you would do with screen-printed heat transfer. So actually, the first thing I would do would probably try using a water-based transfer like ultra color, because then at that point you don't even need to get any extra tools to actually help you achieve a scorch-free surface. If you'd like to carry on with the screen, it could be because screen-printed heat transfers are a Pantone matched product. So if you haven't used them before, that's one of the great reasons for using screen-printed heat transfers. We call them one-to-pipe color transfers. So in that instance, the first step at that point would be to perhaps try using a grip flex. So this is something that's available on our website, targettransfers.com, and it's a Teflon sheet. It's a grey Teflon sheet and adds a protective layer on top of the shirt. So you would have to put the temperature up to maybe 165, 170 because the Teflon is going to retain some of that heat. So that's why you put the temperature up. And then you try that as stage one. And if that doesn't work because it's still a heat sensitive shirt, it's the one your customer's picked and you have to use that one, then the next step would be to try something like a power platen. So I don't know, Steve, if you have a Hotronix machine or not. If you're using one of our air fusion machines, you can plug in something called a power platen, which has lower heat on it. So in that instance, you can put the lower platen to 160 degrees, as you would do for the fusing temperature of your transfers. But then you can take the top down to about 110, and that means even if you're using a grip flex and you have to put up to 120, you're still going to be below that scorch mark of your polyester, and that way you'll get perfect application with screen-printed heat transfers, which fuse at 160 degrees, just by using the power platen. But you would need a Hotronix air fusion machine to get that result, because it's obviously a more advanced application technique. You have to make sure you have the air fusion because it's a softer platen. When it comes down, we don't want you to be damaging the bottom platen. So it's really important to have an air-powered machine which can regulate the pressure in the most accurate way. So I hope that answers your question. But my first option would be to just use a lower fusing temp product. So the lowest fusing heat transfer you can get anywhere in the UK is ultra color. These are available with a minimum order of 10, so really easy to get hold of, and we manufacture them in 2 days, so really easy to get hold of. Just give you a normal look at that, Steve, so you can see just how good that looks on the 100% polyester shirt. But if you've got any questions about anything like that, please give us a follow-up, and we'll be happy to help you with that one. So anyone that's just joining us, I can see there's a few that's just joined us. We're going to be talking about using direct from heat transfers today. So I'm seeing lots of errors with people demonstrating online, having some issues, and they're really easy things to fix and figure out. So I'm just going to show everyone how to get started and how to fix problems if you have any. So if you have any problems or anything you're thinking about fusing onto that you're a bit concerned about, do leave a comment, because we've probably got the right tops in the room that we can figure that one out for. So first thing is threading. So, and this sounds like a very simple thing to say, but I'm seeing lots of mistakes here. So the number one thing that I see people doing, which is not best practice, is rather than threading the shirt on, I'm seeing lots of placing of the shirt. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like that. And this is not best practice for heat application. And there's many reasons for that. One, you can't guarantee that the bottom layer of the shirt is going to be completely flat. So what will happen is when I fuse this, I can already see there's a bit of the t-shirt here that wants to kind of scrunch up a bit. What's going to happen is I'm going to fuse a nice line into this t-shirt. You might have to iron out afterwards, or it might stay in there indefinitely, especially if you put the transfer over the top of it. It's going to look really bad, and you're going to have to throw that t-shirt with the transfer in the bin. You're also going to find that you have the collar on. So some people are putting the collar off, some people are still leaving the collar on. But this is really bad practice by having this seam here, when this pressure comes down, it's going to regulate here, and not here where the heat transfer is going. So it means that you're going to get inaccurate transfer application, and it might not necessarily notice on the first, when you first do it, it might look pick at it like, that's great, I've done it perfectly. But what you'll find is over the lifetime of that garment and a very short lifetime of that garment, the transfer won't stay on because it's not 100% on. It's probably 95% on, but not 100%. And it could come off in the wash if you're not fusing it with isolating this area here. So make sure when you're loading your t-shirts, don't just place them on here, especially the ones of you that have Hotronix presses like this and you're not doing it, shame on you, because you have a fully threadable press, so why aren't you using it? So what we find is what you need to do is thread it on like that. So each layer of the t-shirt is separated by the platen that way. So that way you're only going to get the top layer. So all those creases and elements in the bottom layer are out of the way. But there'll still be occasions like this one, but even though we take the collar off, we've still got that issue with the sleeves. And the great thing about this jersey one is that they highlights that area for you, so you can see you've got two diagonal lines here, which have some seams that are going to interfere with the application process. So even though that doesn't seem like very much, it's only the tiniest little bit, if you're going to be using a very accurate machine like a Hotronix or any other machine, you should be using accurate machines. They will regulate the pressure at the uppermost point. So in this instance, it's not going to be perfect. So take the shirt off and swap the pattern over. These have a quick release, so I can just pull the handle here, pick it up, and swap it out for a different one. So then you could pick something like 20 by 25, whatever is going to fit the best solution for your garment. Clip it into place. Grab that jersey again. So now when we thread this on here, and now you can see that fully threadable area that I'm talking about. So if you have a Hotronix machine, I really don't understand why you wouldn't use that. Separate those layers again, but now, when I'm fusing the middle of the t-shirt, both those sleeves with those seams are off the side here. I'm only going to print on the area I want to print on, which makes your life a lot easier. It means you're going to get a much better finish and it'll stay on there a lot longer. So that's the first thing, get that threading right. So I'm going to do a press for you now. The thing to remember when you're changing your patterns is you can affect the pressure that you've regulated on the top. So if I pull this down now, you can see here on a 0. So we need to adjust the pressure because you want to be fusing at medium pressure with direct film heat transfers. So that's a 3, that's still not enough. There we go. Now we're between 4 and a 5. So when I put a transfer on here, it's going to be perfect. So the things to bear in mind when using direct film heat transfers and getting it perfect every time is to follow the recipe to a T. So whatever time, temperature and pressure we tell you or your supplier tells you, you have to follow those, and that's really important. And it should be really nice and simple. Remember, heat printing should be easy. If you invest in good quality machines and good quality transfers, you'll be able to fuse it right every single time, and then you can spend your time on actually selling and marketing and doing the things that are going to get more business in. And fusing direct-to-film transfers are just as easy as any type of transfer. So the most important thing to do at the beginning is we've got it threaded. So now we've got heat-free area, and now we're going to give it a pre-press. So this only 3 to 5 seconds, but you have to do this. Anyone that tells you that's rubbish, they don't know what they're talking about. You have to pre-press, because now I'm guaranteed a flat surface, and I'm guaranteed it's free from moisture. But when you store your t-shirts, you're not storing them in humidity or temperature controlled rooms. They're probably going to be in a warehouse or a garage. They will pick up moisture when they get cold. So when you go to fuse them with moisture in them, the transfer again, it might look fine to start off with, but over time, over that first 10 washes, that's when you're going to have issues, and it will come off eventually, because we want this to last a long time, and that's why you get good quality heat transfers, because you want them to stay on there the lifetime of the garment, and that's what I'm going to teach you to do today. So pre-press. Now I'm going to grab direct-to-film heat transfer. So this is an Ultracolor Max. So this is the world's leading direct-to-film heat transfer. I'm just going to place it on there. I'm going to pop it under here. And I've got this set to 145 degrees, and this is accurate to the degree because I'm using a Hotronix machine, and I'm going to fuse it for 12 seconds. That's it. One of the things that I see quite a lot at the moment with direct film transfer products is that people are telling others to do second presses. This is not something you need to be doing. When this comes out of here, I can peel this hot, and that's it, that's done. There's no other steps that need to be done here. There's nothing to be gained by second pressing this. It's not going to stay any longer. This is going to stay on there forever now. So what more can you do than forever? So if you're going to be fusing for a second here, it's just a waste of your time. And if your supplier is insistent on second hitting, it's because they're not sure about their product, and it's probably a red flag that you need to look for. Give you a close up here, you see fine detail. See really fine detail, lots of colours and gradients. And that's on there for the lifetime of this garment. I've got a wash solution to show you in a sec. There's nothing more that needs to be done. You're second pressing because you feel unconfident. Just get a good quality machine and you don't have to worry about it. This machine here that I'm using has a lifetime warranty on the heating element. So I don't need to worry about whether this is at the correct temperature, because I know that the quality of this machine means it's going to be 145 degrees for the lifetime of this machine. So there's no reason for actually doing a second press. You're just going to be wasting time. And the old saying about time is money is very accurate, because what does that time mean? It adds up over the year. So if you are using, say, a heat transfer that requires you to do a second press after the peel of 5, 10 or 15 seconds I've seen, what this really means is over a year, say it's the 10 seconds that you're actually going to be doing a second press for, it's actually going to add up to a long time over the year. So actually, by not second pressing, say if you did 100 t-shirts a day and you second pressed all of them, so an extra 10 seconds every single time, what this means is if you remove that step, which doesn't help you, has no benefit at all, you will save 11 working days a year. So think about what you could do with that 11 working days a year if you had them back, just by taking out a step that has no benefit to the transfer. If it's a good quality heat transfer, it's pre-press, main press, done. As soon as you peeled it, leave it for 24 hours, 48 hours before it's washed, and that's it. You never have to do anything with that transfer ever again. So that's why it's really important to think about the steps that you're going through, because that's the biggest issue I see, is there's extra steps and unnecessary steps that just don't need to be done. If it's a good quality product you're using, you should be able to do with a 3 to 5 second pre-press and a 12-second main press, and that's it. There should be no more. Anything with a 20-second press is another red flag. There's no reason to press this for 20 seconds. It's not going to improve it at all. It's purely because there must be an issue with the needing extra time on there just to hope it stays on. Stop buying cheap stuff and it'll go on there for the first time. 12 seconds, hot peel, done, next, and you can just work and work and work. So I can see we have a question here from Greg. Hi, can I put heat transfers onto boxer shorts? If so, what temperature? And again, Craig, that would purely come down to the actual material that boxer shorts are made out of. So the more polyester that is in them, the lower fusion product that I would go for. But if it's just cotton, then you can use absolutely anything. It should be fine. But I would, if it's more of a polyester-based one, I would go with Ultra Color. So this is Ultra Color Matte. Ultra Color, which we put on here, which is our. I mean, you can put Ultra Color Matte onto polyester. If it's a good polyester, I could put this same 145 degree product onto this Just Cool one. But depending on the actual manufacturing of the polyester products, it does vary quite a lot in terms of what levels of temperature they can take. So I would go with an Ultra Color product. And the most important thing when fusing onto boxes more than anything else would be actually isolating their areas. So probably you're looking at something like a 10 by 10 centimeter bottom platen to be able to get the leg on it properly each time. That'd be the most important thing, would be to isolate the areas and then go with something like a water-based transfer like Ultra Color. Okay. So just to remind everyone just how easy that was, it was make it threadable, follow the instructions. If you're using good quality products, you don't have to worry about it at all. So we've got someone coming from further afield. It's Darren saying good morning. So please let us know where you are watching from today. I assume you're a bit further afield. We'd love to hear where you're joining us from. So just to kind of reiterate what I mean about following the correct instructions and what this can lead to. So if you follow the instructions correctly, this is what you can expect. So let me just make sure the lights are right. So what I have here, this is just pressed. This is 50 washes. And this is 75 washes. So you can see here, there's barely any difference between these, wash after wash after wash. That's because if you use good quality machines and materials, it should stay on there the lifetime of the garment. That's why we always have a wash promise on our transfers, because one of the most important things we can do as a transfer manufacturer is make sure we test this for you and test and test and test. So this is done in an industrial commercial strength wash machine, which I have on site here, because we're always testing to make sure when we bring out new products, we're doing things right. So something to look out for when you're getting direct-to-film transfer products is ask for that wash quality and that wash endorsement to make sure it's a good quality product. And if they haven't tested themselves, do be careful. Okay, so who we got? We've got someone from Topeka, Kansas, United States. And we also have someone from Teesside. So thank you very much for joining us. Okay, Chris Heath. Hello, Chris. Chris would like to know if you can use a heat pillow with ultra color transfers, and the answer is absolutely yes. I don't know if I have one to hand. I will ask Molly to go and have a quick look for you, Chris, so you can see it in action. But the answer is absolutely yes. So that's a great way of isolating areas. So if you haven't got the right pattern, but you have a heat pillow in your print shop, using a heat pillow can be absolutely a great way to do it. So thank you very much. So I'm just going to swap patterns back. We found a pillow. So once again, this is the Hotronix Fusion item, and these are available in stock on targettransfers.com. And we actually have some great bundle offers on at the moment. So it's a good example, Chris. So ordinary, like I said before, putting this on here, I'm going to have those getting in the way. So obviously I probably wouldn't use a leg and sleeve pillow normally, but this is the nearest one we had. So we'll use this for today because it will illustrate the point anyway. So if you were to put a heat pillow under there, you can still isolate those areas, because now even though that seam is still on there, the pillow is at the highest point. So when the machine comes down, it's going to regulate at this point and not that point. So the next step is to loosen up that pressure a bit, because there's quite a bit of difference in terms of thickness under there now. Let's just give it a quick test to see where we're at. So that's under 9. So again, another red flag for you is products that need to go on at high pressure, transfers, heat transfer vinyl. Nothing heat transfer wise needs to go on at high pressure. That's a 6, so that's fine. So any of you that are watching that are using the Hotronix range, we're looking between a 4 and a 6 when you're doing any type of heat transfer type. So what we'll do, we'll give you that pre-press. So we'll do 5 seconds again, and then we'll do a main press. And that's going to be it. And this pillow could be used on any fabric type. So I've used it on the polyester ones before as well, and it's been absolutely fine. So let me find a nice transfer type. There we go. I've got my Colour Max logo here. So again, pop that on top of the area with the pillow. I'm going to go on 12 seconds. And something that's important here is that if you're using the good quality machines, it's going to be 12 seconds no matter what pattern, what pillow that's under there, because you've got the pressure regulated and you've got the temperature regulated. Pull that up. Just like that. I'll peel again. I'll give you a nice close up so you can see that that's gone on just perfectly. Let me know if you can see that. That looks all right. Show everyone on Instagram as well.
Yeah, perfect.
There we go. So again, nice and easy. And that'll stay on there the lifetime of the garment. So yeah, heat pillow is another great option for fusing direct film heat transfers or any type of heat transfer. So just to give you a little bit more information about the Hotronix machine, because I know we always have questions on that. And in terms of what to look for when you're buying a heat press to fuse direct film heat transfers. And this is a logic that you can apply across any type of heat press manufacturer. You always need to be able to look out for the three things: time, temperature, and pressure. And if your heat press won't let you control those, you're really going to struggle with direct film heat transfers. So this machine here, the reason I love the Hotronix range, as well as being part of the family, it is great that they are the most reliable heat press available. So like I said, this is set to 145 degrees, and this is going to be 145 degrees all throughout this top plate. So every single area in the top here, because of the way we build these machines, so many heating rods all the way through this top platen, there's no chance for them to get cold in between. So the reason you get cold spots on heat presses is cheap presses might have, let's use this pillow as an example, they might have a heating rod in the middle or two going across each other. Sometimes it's an S shape. So what you find is they have a heating rod here and it tries to spread it the width of the platen, top platen. What happens is, because it's not possible to, with that kind of width, gap in between rods, is that where it might be 145 degrees here, by the time it gets to here and all the way to the end, you're actually looking at probably like 125 or 130, which is going to be against the recipe of the product. So something we have with Hotronix is that we have rods all the way through, so there's no chance for it to get cold in between. That's why the whole of this will be fused at 145 degrees and no cold spots on it at all. And if you've never seen any of these videos before, you're new to us, and you just go to our YouTube channel and search Hotronix versus import, there is a video of us cutting the top of one of these heat presses open, so you can see for yourself to show that we're not lying, and there's no sort of gimmicks here. This is just good quality US manufactured heat presses to last and last and last. Like I say, you get a lifetime warranty on the heating element and 5 years on the framework of this machine. So these are all things to look out for, because you need to be able to control things. The other thing to look out for, I'll slide this down so you can see, is the pressure. The pressure is really important. Like I said, all heat transfers fuse at medium pressure. For a Hotronix machine, that's 4 to 6, or if you're using a air fusion, we always tell you what that means in PSI and bar as well. So when you bring this top pattern down, what you're looking for is over center pressure. This is really important, and this is what gives you a good versus great application, by having over center pressure. What I mean is the top needs to come directly through the middle. So when I pull this down, I'm going to get perfect pressure all throughout. So because I put that pillow's not in there anymore, it's telling me I've got the pressure on, I need to tighten up a bit. So when I bring this down now, that's a little bit too high, it's an 8. Because it's so accurate, just the tiniest little turns make all the difference. So now I'm going to bring it down. Again, it's at 7 still, so I need to keep going a little bit. It's quarter turns at a time. You want to make sure you're accurate. So now we're at 6, which is fine. But because this pressure comes down to the middle and it's so sensitive, it means that every single part of this is going to have perfect pressure. So what I'm going to do now, just to illustrate this point, I'm going to grab a different t-shirt. That to the side. And I'm going to fuse it on the left chest. So let me thread this on. So remember, always thread your t-shirts. Thankfully, this one just hangs off the side, so I don't have to change the pattern at the moment. So we're going to again give it a pre-press. The great thing about this Hotronix machine as well is it comes pre-programmed with every single recipe anyway. It's straight out of the box. I know exactly what I need to do. It's going to just put Ultracolor Max on here. So it has a little library. The Ultracolor Max, heat transfer vinyl types, power patterns. So if you go down your power pattern route, you can easily do that. They're already set to Ultracolor Max. So we're pre-pressed. So we'll do a really tiny detail transfer. So this is actually a little neck label. So let me just show you just how detailed that is. You see the text on there is tiny. This should be hard work normally, but because we're using good quality products, it's not going to be. So again, make sure those seams are off. And I go in the corner here because I want to illustrate to you just how easy it is to fuse, not just in the middle, but every single corner. And what you find with heat presses is they usually come down from the back first and then correct themselves. But you want it to come through the middle. So I've got 5 under pressure here. It's going to count down to 12, then I can hot peel, and it really doesn't matter where I've done it on the press here because it's going to be accurate every single place. And now, just grab it by the corner, just peel away. And you can see, bring it up nice and close for you, so you can see tiny little writing there. Let Instagram see as well. We've got that okay?
Yeah.
So we've got the tiniest white text, that's better there. The little social icons at Target Transfers if anyone wants to follow us on all the social channels. Just like that, I put the tiniest little text in the far corner, and this should be hard work for a heat press normally, but because this is set to the degree and I'm following the instructions and I'm not doing any silly steps or over temperature, going above the temperature, I can do it just fine. Actually, one thing I wanted to show as well, because I'm using a tie-dye shirt here as well, so just to give you a bit of a fuller look, I want you to see that there's no marks on that as well. Even I've got 145 degrees and there's not a single blemish on here. There's no scorch box on there. I need to worry about what my customer thinks, so I've got that done perfectly. And it all comes down to using, so this is on the Just Cool, Just Tees t-shirts, and I've got the Hotronix press and I've got the Ultra Color Max heat transfer as well. So what we've got a few people, someone using the Print Pro UK, they're using that same one as they watch along, so that's always good to hear. So here, and Yarn's wishing they got the pellet one. It's always, there's so many options with the Hotronix machine. I do like the pellet ones. I'm a big fan of the dual air fusion as well, to be honest, just because it just makes my life so much easier. But there's options for absolutely every single person, and there's bundle deals for every single level as well. So if you're thinking about getting a new heat press, you can actually get lots of transfer credit for free at the moment because we've got a double up option with the heat transfer credit. Just go to targettransfers.com/bundles.html and you can have a look at all of them for yourself, or just go to targettransfers.com and look at heat press area. We also have loads of new product videos up on all of the heat press pages as well at the moment. So you want a more in-depth look at this press or any of the other presses, that's a really great place to start. So I'm just going to do one more fuse because we're about half an hour in. Then after this point, we're going to switch over to just YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn only, because we're going to talk about how to get heat transfers and the best way to actually look at pricing transfers, because there's a bit of nuance to get the price right. So just to recap what we looked through today, is that it should be really easy to fuse direct from heat transfers. So we saw it earlier with this one, and it all comes down to following the recipe. Follow the recipe, it's easy every single time. Things to look out for. We always have a 145 degree centigrade transfer product for Ultra Color Max direct from transfers. It shouldn't be any higher than that. Anything higher than that is overkill. You just don't need to do it. You want a lower fusing transfer product, and you want it to go with pre-press and main press and no extra steps. These extra steps add weeks to your year. So like I said, if you're doing a second press for 10 seconds or you're doing a 20-second press, just a one, but it's still 20 seconds, you could be losing a couple of working weeks a year just by adding silly extra steps in that. If you go for good quality products, remember I showed you their wash quality earlier as well, 75 plus washes later, it still looks exactly the same, and that's how you're going to get repeat business, by using good quality products that wash last wash after wash after wash. So unless we have any more questions, I'm going to pass to Molly, because she's going to show you how to order heat transfers and how to choose which product when, and that's really important to pick the right product at the right time. Because direct to heat transfers are fantastic. They look amazing, but there's more options out there as well when it comes to the bulk and volume orders. So we want to make sure you're ordering the right transfer at the right time, because we want to make sure you're all as profitable as possible. So I'll hand over to you now, Molly.
Great, thanks, Andy. Would you mind turning off our Instagram live as well, please? Anyone on Instagram can head over and watch on here. So bear with me, everyone, while I just share my screen with you. We're going to head over to custom.targettransfers.com, which is our online transfer ordering system. So you should all now be able to see that. Perfect. So the first thing I want to show you is just where to find how to order your transfer. So this is the homepage. The first thing you see when you go to custom.targettransfers.com. As you scroll down, you will see the different transfer options. So Ultra Color Max, the DTF transfer that Andy has been using with today. Ultra Color transfers, which we're going to cover a little bit about in a minute, and then your standard screen print as well, which we touched on slightly today. We've also got other options on here for different sizing and for blocker transfers, but if you have any questions on that, let us know, but we can always do a separate video on that. So firstly, let's go with the Ultra Color Max. So you select the transfer that you want, scroll down and it will give you the size options. Now you can order any size in Ultra Color Max, but we always recommend the 55 by 55 sheet because you can get so many more transfer designs on that for a better cost rather than just ordering one. And then we're just going to pick an A3 gang sheet just as an example here. So this is an old levers one, but as you can see here, you can fit, this is an A3 size into the 55 by 55 sheet, and you still have all of this space left over to add like different designs in if you've got anything extra you want to put, or if you wanted to do a design that was bigger than A3, for example, you could do that as well. The pricing of this is £29 for one gang sheet, as you can see up here. And then as you change the quantity, it just goes up. So as you can see here, the price of this transfer doesn't change the more you order. So this is more of our option for accompanying your bulk orders. So if you're sampling products and you want to make sure you've got the right colors and quality that the rest of your job is going to be, we'd recommend using this product if it's a one-off, that kind of thing. But if we go back to the homepage, for example, the main thing we want to talk about today is the scaling side of things. So once you get to the point where you have more orders per job and people want to order, 10 plus t-shirts or hoodies or whatever it might be, Ultra Color Transfers is really where you want to be sitting with your transfer orders. The main reason this is because they have got a better price scaling point. So if we click on this, I can show you what I mean. So same full color capabilities as Ultra Color Max. Same wash test, it will last 75 plus washes. It's just as easy to apply. It actually goes down at a slightly lower temperature of 120, which is a bonus if you're fusing onto things like polyester. So we'll select the same gang sheet just as an example. So here you go, you can see the A3 size. Now, if you're ordering 10, which is our minimum for Ultra Color, they are £5.99 per sheet, so just under £60 in total. But just to show you how quickly pricing can change for this product in particular, if I change this to 100, the price halves immediately to £3.01 per sheet. So £300 for 100 sheets. And you've got more than one transfer on here. So it's not like you're paying £3 per transfer, it's £3 per sheet. So if you had 10 transfers on one sheet, you're then dividing that cost by 10 again, which makes it even more affordable. Let's say we change it to 200, it's dropped to £2.48 per sheet. If we were to drop it to 500, it's to $2.15. And if we were to go up to 1,000, which we do have a lot of customers putting through big orders like this, it's just £2 per sheet. So really, really a great way to scale your business and make more money.
So you could be looking at sort of 10, 30p a transfer at that point, basically.
It does get very, very, very cheap. And that's why we wanted to show you this today. So not only to show you how to order your transfers, but also highlight the fact that once you get to that point, Ultra Color Transfers is the product you want to go with. Ultra Color Max DTF is a fantastic product. It accompanies Ultra Color so well. Like I said, if you're sampling, if you want low quantities, that kind of thing. But once you get to the point where you're looking to make profit on your items, Ultra Color is the way to go. So we'll just recap that again. So if we were to go from the homepage, how to order, scroll down and select your product. Hopefully it will be Ultra Color Transfers, the one in the middle. You can select your size. Again, we have got multiple options available, but we always recommend going with A3 because you can get the most transfers onto that size. But if you are busy and you don't want to be cutting the sheets out yourself once they arrive, you can of course order one of the smaller sizes just to make your life easier. You can just pull them straight out of the packet and fuse them as they are, no cutting the gang sheets up. Then you click add design or add text, whatever you want to do. And then we have all of our images obviously preloaded in here, but you could click upload image here and select it from your folder system on your laptop or your computer. You select your design and then it will tell you if it's an okay quality. So if we were to bring it over the box, it would say, oh, it might appear blurred because it's too big and that you've placed it over the transfer print area. So our system does let you know of all of the errors before you make that transfer order. Make it a bit smaller, so it's green. There we go. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything in terms of the EasyView point of view. To answer a few common questions that we get, one, you do have to remove the background before uploading it into EasyView. You can use this tool here, which is the fill background, to change the color of the EasyView designer. So here, for example, if you had a, let's say, blue garment you were putting it onto and you wanted to see what it would look like, you can change the background of that, but it is just grey as standard when you're first ordering. And the other thing is about mirroring your designs. So you do not need to mirror or flip your transfer designs when ordering on EasyView. If you order it like this, this is exactly how we will print it. So for those of you that are used to using heat transfer vinyl, you do have to flip designs before you send them to cut. That's not the case here at all with our artwork. So make sure you remove the background and don't order it back to front, would be two of my biggest pointers there. And once you're ready and you've got your quantity in there, you just hit buy and it will add it to your cart. And then you can either check out or you can go back if you want to, add another transfer product to your order. Quite a lot of people do order multiple products each time. So that's pretty much it from the EasyView point of view. Do we have any questions?
Just have one from Print Pro UK. What is the difference between Ultra Color and Ultra Color Max?
So Ultra Color Max, as we've just said, is our no minimum order transfer product. So it's exactly the same full color as Ultra Color. It's the same wash quality. It's the difference in application is literally just 25 degrees. So that's not really anything to be too focused on when you're ordering, unless you're ordering something for polyester and you want the lowest temperature transfer. But in general, the biggest order is the price and the quantity. So Ultra Color Max, you can order a minimum of one, but the price is the same regardless of how many sheets you order. Whereas Ultra Color Standard or our generic Ultra Color products, which is the main one that everybody uses, the price will come down the more sheets you order. So that's the benefit of that product, really. And yeah, the slight difference in fusing temperatures.
Yes, and at this time of year, obviously, you might just want to use Ultra Color because the less temperature coming from the heat press is going to be a lot nicer
environment.
in the heat, yeah. And it will draw less electricity as well because it's not making the heat press work quite as hard. But main thing is, so if you 0 to 9 Ultra Color Max, 10 or more Ultra Color, you still get that great finish. Like Molly says, you get the wash quality, and it looks fantastic with the colors, gradients are unlimited, and you can gang sheet absolutely all of the size layouts as well.
And just to jump in on that one as well, we've had a couple of questions on if the colours are the same for Ultra Color and Ultra Color Max. And Beth and I actually did a test on this. We fused the exact same artwork in the two different transfer types, and nobody in this building could tell the difference between which one was Ultra Color Max and which one was normal Ultra Color. So there is not really a difference in colour at all.
And we should note as well that obviously Molly took you through the volumes you can get. But if you ordered 10 or 1,000, you're still going to get the same turnaround, which is why, and with direct-to-film transfers, if someone wants, say, 1,000 meters of them, it's sometimes harder to turn it around in that same time. We can do it, but I know a lot of people really struggle with that. But with Ultra Color, we could do 1,000, 10,000 in a couple of days, and we're not going to have any issues doing that because it's a different machine. It's a direct-to-screen technology, which is a hybrid of screen and digital, but it's a much bigger machine. It's probably the size of this room, and it can just do volume. So no matter what, if you've got those big jobs, Ultra Color is the most affordable option, the most profitable option for you. And we do have a question from Chris. Would like to know what file formats I'm assuming for Ultra Color, and the answers would be PNG, JPEG, A vectored EPS, yep, correct. We always prefer vectored when it comes to EPS, and we can also take PDF as well. And if alternatively, if you were doing the 1 to 5 color screen product, it would just be PDF, EPS, and SVG. But yeah, PNG, JPEG's fine. Just make sure the PNG is 300 dpi.
And if you ever forget that, Chris, it is on the website. If you just scroll right down to the bottom, it'll give you a little preview, as I've just scrolled down to here on Easy View. So if you ever forget, it is always on there.
A question from Danny. Are the print production methods the same between the two types? And the answer is no, they're not the same. The end result for you and your customer in terms of having a great full color transfer product is the same, but they are much different processes. And so a direct-to-film transfer machine, say, is like a little bit wider than my arm reach, but it would take, but the ultra color machines, because they're for volume, get you that better price point and get that faster turnaround on thousands and 2000s, it's probably 10 times or 20 times the size machine. It's a commercial industrial transfer printing machine, and it's a process that's unique to the Stahls companies across, and we can do this on any continent. So our friend in Topeka, Kansas can get the same product from transferexpress.com in the US, but it's a much bigger machine because it can do much bigger volume. Actually, some of you can probably see the machine behind me. Actually.
That was really well timed.
It's a different machine. It's much more powerful and it's much better for volume work. But if in doubt, just give us a message, send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, or phone us up and say, which product do you think I should use for this? But anything above 10 ultra color, you can get a better price and it will look fantastic. But the main thing is not to worry about it because we have an option for every single occasion. So go by the quantity you need and the colors you need. So if it's 1 to 3 colors, go screen printed heat transfers. And if it's more than 3 colors, go with ultra color. And if that quantity is going to be, say, 9 or more, use ultra color because you're going to get a much better price point. You can gang those sheets at no extra cost, and you're still going to get the fastest turnaround in the UK for heat transfers. And as you can see, you can even put them onto 100% polyester if you want to as well, and they still look fantastic. So it really means that you've got options for every single occasion that way. So if no one has any more questions, we've done almost 50 minutes now, so I'm aware that some of you have to get back to lunch, and those of you that are fusing along with us probably want to carry on with that. So I do thank you for that. I've just got couple of things to mention before we go. There was a brand new podcast up yesterday, available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I really enjoyed our conversation that myself and Molly had with Charlotte from Minus Cloud 9, and she has a really fantastic story behind her printing business that I'd encourage you all to go and listen to. And she's done some really great things recently. She was recently asked by Netflix to do a fair pop-up in their offices to promote great products and mental health awareness. So it's a really interesting story, and I encourage you all to listen to that. And if you didn't catch the podcast last week, we did have Carl and Tiffany from Audis joining us as well to talk about blank product selection and what to do there. And then we had the folks at Beachfield the week before that as well, talking about hats and how to make the most of that, how to be profitable with your business. So I'd encourage you all to go and check them out, subscribe to those. We have another one dropping Thursday coming up next week. And just to give you a little bit of a sneak peek about what's to come next, it's just the schools are broken up, but we're starting to think about Levers 24 prints, the 24 print.
That's an exclusive design.
Exclusive design. We're going to have some new templates up for you for the 24 season, because we know that schools and clubs and societies forget just the levers part. They're looking to use that 24 design in lots and lots of things, and we're going to show you how to get that done. We're going to talk about it on the podcast next week so you can understand how to leverage that for the best for your business. And we'll talk a little bit about artworking, and we will be doing a full artwork live very, very soon in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you sign up for a newsletter as well to get the first look at this template, which will be free for you as an EPS file. So I think that's everything. Thank you very much to all of you for joining me today. Don't forget time, temperature, pressure, pre-press, main press, and you're done with direct film heat transfer products. It shouldn't be any harder than that. So thank you very much for joining us, and don't forget to like and subscribe for future events.